Hi, welcome to our online event, Dream It, Live It, Do It, with Dr. Leonaura Rhodes, a neuroscience expert, author, and speaker and coach, who is also a member of our Over 40 Females Fairfield Chapter Speakers Board and has been a member for 3 years now, and we are so grateful for her loyalty and support. I'm Judy Goss, the founder and CEO, and thrilled to be here for our monthly online event today. We are going to start having more online teleseminars just like this one today. But this one today is an actual event with raffles and everything just like the ones that thousands of women are attending across the country every month. And next week, on December 1st, there will be a breakout session hosted by me on how to present yourself in front of an audience and on TV. So we will let you know where to sign up for that one later on in this teleseminar. Over 40 Females is a nationally acclaimed live and online networking community, as you as members already know, or over40females.com. We are specifically tailored for women over the age of 40 that speaks to all women in transition, whether we're learning about building our businesses, financial issues to help us get set up for retirement, figuring out how, when, or where to get a divorce, unraveling social media secrets, collaborating with each other to help one another, or simply teach you how to further yourself or your careers, because we're all in it together. And we know that, and together we will learn and persevere to lift this demographic up to new heights with each other, as my vision was from the start in creating this company. Okay, help us build and give a gift. Give your friends a gift for a free month that we're offering. We'd love to see the hundreds of members we have now become thousands and then even millions all over the world. And we also have our first international member in England. Actually, I think we have 2 from England now. So help us build by letting your friends know that until December 10th only, they will get to experience a free month of our online community membership with the coupon code HOLIDAY GIFT. Tell them to go to over40females.com and put in the coupon code Holiday Gift, and whoever gets the most sign-ups, who is a member right now, before December 10, will get a $100 gift card from Over 40 Females. Help us explode this demographic's power. Okay, we are constantly getting our members noticed and in the press. This time it was a member from New York City. A couple of months ago, we booked Julia Klein from Chicago for her own segment, which featured her book. And also last month, Helen Powers from Connecticut was booked on her own segment on NBC. And we've had tons of members get blogs, magazine articles, newspaper articles, all kinds of interviews. We're proud of the fact that we are constantly getting our members so much recognition for their businesses. Okay, now take a look at all of your online benefits. Before we start the actual featured speaker, we'd like to just ask you to please go in and log into the website, because we have so many benefits that you may not know about, okay, after the teleseminar, and we want you to take advantage of all of them. Listed here are only a few, but we want you to know that you have your own personal profiles with a URL link. There's personal blogs that you guys can build yourselves really easy. And we have business building resources, teleseminar events hosted online, just like this one. And if you read all those little boxes there, the forum discussions, the live chats with other members and messaging other members. And, you know, we just want you to know that we have all of these online benefits in the back end, as you, a member, already have. So please go take advantage of them. And fill out your profiles, by the way. We pick out members from what they write in their profiles to present for TV segments, press features, website features, and so much more. We also have, we are on to What Women Want now. Awesome. Our What Women Want Talk radio show is another way to get your story or business promoted. Now, this was opened as a benefit to you guys, to members. You get top consideration to be interviewed for What Women Want Talk radio. We've had over 4,000 downloads. That's not including the people who listen live every week. And the 4th month on air, we had over 4,000 downloads. So every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific, is what you want to hear, What Women Want Talk Radio. So email us pitches at whatwomenwantshow@gmail.com. It's right up there on the screen. We are constantly looking for co-hosts, guests to interview, and we range in topics from a doctor that found a vaccine to cure breast cancer, to cure the breast cancer virus, to tarot card readers. So we cover the gamut. So pitch us. You can get on our show. And actually last night on the show, I actually had my tarot cards read on air. So it was exhilarating. It was stressful, but it was really fun and very informative for me. So we're learning a lot on the show, and we have a lot of fun, and we'd love you to be a part of it. We are open to all types of topics. Okay, on the screen right now are the current locations of our chapters and the future ones that are opening. Oh, no, we don't have the future ones. At the moment, we have Sarasota that's opening December 3rd, and we are opening 3 to 4 a month now. So I think in the hopper we have New Jersey and I can't remember. We have 1 or 2 that are opening too that are also in training. So if you'd like to attend the events live in person, Scottsdale, Arizona launched October 20th. We love that. That was just pointed out to me. So we're always opening chapters, and if you want to be a chapter director and open a chapter in your area, please contact us at info@over40females.com. Okay, so, I just want to tell you, for our Connect Live events, which are happening monthly around the country, just like this online event is happening monthly. There was a member from our Fairfield, Connecticut chapter that said she actually didn't leave the house when she was depressed except to go to an Over 40 Females networking event. We actually had a member in Westchester say that too. So these events are inspiring, uplifting. They're just terrific. We've been doing this for about 3 years, and if you want to be a chapter director, please contact us as soon as possible, and we'll let you know if it's a possibility in your area. Okay, our raffle today is a hair beauty bag. Revitalizing your hair. We have a mask treatment, conditioner, and vitamins, all helping you to get awesomely great looking hair or to keep the hair you have looking shiny and beautiful. So to win the raffle, please post a question right on your screen during Leonaura's presentation. You'll see at the left-hand side, you can submit your question for the event here. So just click in there, write your question, and submit, and we will put you into the raffle. And so basically, you get free advice and a chance to win our raffle prize. Can't beat that. And now I'd like to introduce Dr. Leonaura Rhodes. Like I said, she's a neuroscience expert, speaker, coach, and author of Beyond Soccer Mom. Leonaura is the founder of Stress Boot Camp for Parents of Special Needs Children, High Performance Mom, Peak Performance Teen, and Outstanding Families TV, bringing 2 decades of experience as a physician in the UK working with adults and children in public health medicine and expertise in neuroscience. Dr. Leonaura now specializes in the neuroscience of positive health and family health and well-being, such a hot topic today, with a special interest in families with children with special needs. Leonaura, thank you so much for being our featured presentation today.
Hi, Judy. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Thanks, Leonaura. I'm looking forward to your presentation.
Good. I can't wait to get started.
Well, go ahead. Yeah, I'm handing you the torch.
Yeah, thank you.
Go.
Okay. Yes. So I just wanted to say a quick thank you to Judy and Beth, who's behind the scenes, for inviting me. I've been a member, as Judy said, it's actually nearly 4 years now, and it's been a huge support to me being part of the group, and saw me through some difficult times as well, like you were saying, with the woman with depression. So a huge thank you. Now,
it's absolutely our pleasure, Leonaura. And as far as you being a member for so many years and supporting us, you're really valuable to us.
Thank you. So I'm presenting this to all of you lovely ladies today because I believe that life is too precious to leave to chance. Today I'm going to share with you some strategies to help you get really clear about the life you want to create, and then to create a rock solid plan to help you fulfill your dreams, and how to get in really good shape physically and mentally so that you can make these changes quickly and effectively and enjoy the amazing life that you've created. And I'm going to show you how to work smarter, not harder, and free up more time to do the things that you really want to do with your life. I believe I meet people every day who are heading for breaking point, and it's not a question of if but when. And, part of the problem is that people are defining success in ways that don't make them happy or healthy. And this way of living is overwhelming, and it's really not sustainable for long periods of time. And so today I want to share with you some strategies to help you increase abundance of the things that you really want in your life, whether it's better health, happiness, peace, balance, fun, laughter, adventure, contribution, love, or something else. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. It sounds like a lot, but I'm going to simplify it. So first, I want to start with a medical joke. How many psychiatrists does it take to change a light bulb? Well, the answer is only one, but it takes a long, long time. It costs a lot of money, and the light bulb has to really want to change. Now, I tell you this joke not to be disrespectful to psychiatrists. In fact, I told this joke to psychiatrists last week. But to bring up the subject of how long change takes, if you'd asked me when I was a physician, I would have said, well, it depends on a lot of factors. It depends on how healthy you are. It depends on your age, your family structure, underlying health problems. But as a coach, I've come to realize that change happens in an instant. It happens the instant you make a decision that you are going to do everything you can to make that change happen. It happens when you make a decision that it's worth the risk of making the change and that you don't want to stay stuck where you are now. So before we go any further, I would love you all to switch off anything that might distract you. And I'm going to tell you about why I'm asking you to do that a little bit later. And grab a paper and a pen. And I'd love you to kind of jot down things as you go along, maybe write down questions, or if there's something that I say that really appeals to you, then write it down.
And while they're grabbing a paper and a pen, I just want to tell you, Leonora, that if anybody emails or anybody messages in with questions on that little box to the left of their screen, we're going to just kind of interrupt you. Is that okay as we go?
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
No worries.
Okay, great.
So I want to, on the subject of change, I want to tell you a little bit about my change and a particular story in my life. I began, as Judy said, as a physician in the UK, and everything was going fine in my life, and I was happily married and I had my first son, and then he got really sick and nearly died. And I was forced to change career and actually became a full-time stay-at-home mom, which was a big change, as you can imagine. And during the time that I was a stay-at-home mom, I worked as a teacher's assistant, and then I trained as a counsellor and a coach, and then I was lucky enough to go back to medicine. But during those early years of being a full-time stay-at-home mom, I got very depressed. I was very stressed for long periods of time. Both of my kids were sick, and I suddenly had this realization that the way that I was living, neglecting myself, was really harming me, and it was harming my family, and it was harming the people around me. And I read a book which kind of changed my perspective on that, called The Art of Happiness. And what I learned reading this book was that happiness comes from within us and not from the things that are going on in our life, and not from how much stuff we have and belongings and money and all of that kind of thing. And I learned that pain and loss are inevitable parts of life, but suffering is optional. And there was one page in this book that just, I was reading it and I began to cry. And I made a decision in that moment that I was not going to let myself neglect me and my family any longer. So I kind of sat there that day and made a decision to do everything I could. And that was where my career path took me after that, training to be a counselor and a coach, then returning to medicine as a developmental pediatrician. And then when we moved to the States in 2009, I trained to do neurotherapy. And the last kind of chapter of my career is that I've written a book called Beyond Soccer Mom, Strategies for a Fabulous Balanced Life. So I'm also an author. And at each of these times, there's been a big decision to make in my life. And I am one of those people that I'm quite stubborn. When I make a decision, I go wholeheartedly into it and do everything I can to make that happen. So just a quick picture of me with my lovely family. This is a very old picture. And this was actually from the days when I was really, really depressed. And my family are the reason that I do all of this, although they might not think so at times. So 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I decided that I wanted to share my message of looking after yourself and nurturing yourself with more people. And so I wrote a book called Beyond Soccer Mum. And I'm really, really proud of the book. And the idea of it is that it is a book that women can read so that they can alone make a big change in their life and make a big shift in their life. And so to begin with, I want to tell you about the master strategy that I cover in my book. And I talk about strategies because I'm a very strategic person. Training as a doctor, it's all about kind of strategies and having research behind doing things. And then I trained as a strategic intervention coach for Tony Robbins. So that's kind of why that word keeps coming up. So my master strategy for creating the life you desire and deserve is that you need to do three things, and you need to kind of do them at the same time. The first thing is to get really clear about who you are deep down, and I call this your authentic self. The second thing is to plan change with integrity to your authentic self. And the third step is to regulate and empower yourself, and this spells aspire. And this regulate and empower piece is also known as peak performance, and I'm going to talk about that last. So what do I mean by authentic self? Well, authentic self is who you are deep down, free from all assumptions. And the problem that we women tend to have, especially as we're kind of, hitting 40 and above, is that we're often running a script in our life which is no longer correct or relevant. And, when you look back at the woman you were when you were 18, you're very, very different than you were back then. And so the type of things that I'm talking about is your perspective on your story. So the things that have happened in your life and the meaning that you've given them. What you value in life. So are you somebody who values health or happiness or love or money or accomplishment? What are your strengths and weaknesses? What are the things that you're good at and bad at? And the weaknesses piece is really interesting because often people fail to create the change that they desire in their life because of weaknesses. Things like, being badly organized comes up often when people are failing to achieve their goals. Next is the type of thought processes that you engage in. And to be honest, most people come to coaching because they've got in a negative thought pattern. So that's really, really important to get clear on the type of thinking that you're engaging in. Then having a look at what you need in order to be happy. Then passions, what things are you passionate about in your life? And can you create passion in some of the things in your life that you need to spend more time doing? Because passion gives us energy and drive and motivation, and you get much more done when you're passionate about something. And the last piece of the authentic self is purpose. Now, I draw it as a tree because I like to think of your authentic self as something that's constantly growing and evolving. And it's also affected by the weather of our life. Our life throws at us things that we weren't expecting. And the things that happen in our life change who we are constantly. So that's authentic self. And in the book, I go into all of these areas in much, much greater detail, obviously. So I want you all to have a think now about what success is for you. What is it that makes you feel good in your life and makes you feel like you're progressing? And we're going to do a little exercise now. So grab that paper and pen that I mentioned. And I just want to check in with Judy. Are there any questions at this stage?
Not at the moment.
No,
I'll
great.
interrupt you if we get some, yeah.
Sure. Okay. So I'll power ahead. So I want you for a moment, close your eyes if you like. Just have a think. If you had a magic wand, what would you want more of and what would you want less of in your life? And just jot down those things on your paper. And now I'm going to ask you the question in a slightly different way. if you had a magic wand, what would you want to feel more often and less often in your life? So this is a question about how you want to feel, the emotions that you want to be feeling in your life, all of that kind of thing. So write down, what would you want to feel more often and what would you want to feel less often? Well, thank you for doing that. So I ask this in two different ways, because often people, when I'm first coaching them, they say that they want more stuff or belongings or more accomplishment at the beginning. But when we dig really deep, what they're actually craving is to feel differently. And so before I wrote my book, I did a survey, and thanks to over 40 females, I got a lot of respondents to this survey, and it was called the Magic Wand Survey, and asked these very questions. And it won't surprise you, people wanted less stress. That was the top thing that came up, and it was nearly 50% of women were saying that they wanted less stress. And really interestingly, the thing that came up that they wanted more often was balance, closely followed by joy, passion, love, peace, adventure, and financial certainty came into that. And I think that came in about number 4. So it was a really fascinating survey. So thank you, everybody who took part in that. So I want you to have a think just for a moment about what your goals are, about the things that you want to change in your life. Not only for you, but if you have a family, what are your goals for your wider family? And just quickly write down just one thing that you might want to change in the next 3 to 6 months. So now that you've got clear on what it is that you want in your life, it's really, really important to plan it. And you can leave it to chance, but what I find is that most people kind of plod through life hoping that, that amazing change will happen in their life. And unfortunately, the reality of the situation is sometimes you actually have to create a plan and you have to take action. So this is what I'm going to help you to do right here. So the planning stage involves getting really clear about why you want to change. Why do you not want to stay stuck where you are now? What will you potentially benefit if you change, and what will you sacrifice if you change? And how will your
Leonaura?
change? Yeah, sure.
Hi, we have a question.
Hi. Great.
Okay, what if what I want to change affects my family in a negative way?
Yes, so that's what we're talking about right now.
That's a family one. You specialize in families.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I think when the thing that you want to change is going to affect other people, you really have to weigh up the pros and cons in the short, medium, and long term for you and your family. And then when you've kind of weighed up the pros and cons, then you have to make a decision. And sometimes if it is going to negatively affect other people, but you're not kind of being selfish and kind of railroading members of your family, what you need to do is you need to explain to the members of your family that it's going to affect, what are your reasons? And be really explicit and clear with them about that. Don't assume that they know why it is you want to change. And often when you explain it to other people, they come over to your way of thinking. And often, especially us women, we like other people to kind of guess what we're thinking.
Yeah, and you know what? We're not selfish enough, right? As women, naturally, we just don't think about ourselves.
Yeah, and sometimes when you have those honest conversations with your family and you explain to them, that you may be feeling a bit down and unfulfilled or bored with your current situation, they may not know that. And, sometimes when you tell people that, then, they slowly kind of shift to your way of thinking. And I mean, your loved ones, it's likely if they love you as much as you love them, they wouldn't want you to be feeling bad and to be unhappy. So
okay, so I have a question actually. That's
sure.
an add-on to this question that this woman asked. What if your kids are a lot younger? Like, how do you, I mean, would you try explaining that concept to them? I mean, some, even though we're in our 40s and 50s, some of us still have kids that are, 5 to 10 years old. Even I think preteen is pretty young. Are we supposed to try to sit them down and tell them we're unhappy?
Well, obviously you need to be careful how you word it. I personally, I've worked with hundreds of families and hundreds of young children, and as you know, my area of expertise is special needs families.
Yeah, and that's why I'm asking the question.
Yeah, absolutely. I think even with those children who maybe have, a younger level of understanding, you would maybe kind of say, well, mommy's more happy when she's busy or when she's able to kind of go out and work and kind of turn it around so that it's not a negative thing, but you're selling it to them as a positive thing. And I know for sure, and this is from my personal and my professional experience, that when a mother is unhappy and when a mother neglects herself, it will eventually filter down to the children. It will begin to affect them. So it's not a selfish act. It's a very positive one. And my kids have said to me, several times over the years, I've gone back to work a few times, they've said to me, Mum, you are much happier when you're working. Of course, there's a bit more stress when you're working because you've got more to juggle. But they kind of realize that I'm one of those people who really needs to be busy. And so I think, with younger children, you need to have those conversations, and you need to make those conversations so that they're natural and that they happen often. So it's not suddenly a big surprise to your kids, when they turn 13, that you suddenly say, well, I've been unhappy all these years and you've been holding me back, but that you have those conversations earlier. And then they don't become taboo. They're just natural. They're just things that you talk about in your family. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me, hopefully to everybody else too, and especially to the woman who answered the question.
Yeah. So no, it's really important to think about how it will affect other people, especially for us women, because as you say, Judy, we don't like to be selfish. It's kind of wired into our brains to be that way. So the next step is to get really clear about where you're beginning your journey and where you want to end, and be really specific about both of those things. So, for example, if you wanted to lose weight, how much do you weigh now, and how much do you want to lose? But you also need to be clear about what it is really that you want to affect. So, for example, if it's weight, that's about health. So it's about kind of saying, my weight is, my current weight is making me unhealthy at the minute. I want to lose this weight and get more healthy. So it's good to kind of dig. That authentic self piece will help you dig deep and discover what it really is that you want to change. And then if it's a big thing that you want to change, it's really important to break it down into small, manageable steps, because we love to feel like we're making progress. And if something's not working and we're not making progress, at least if you're making small steps, you can review them and you don't feel like you're a failure so much. So then the next piece is building a team of people around you. A team of people who will support you, people who are positive thinkers, perhaps some people who are on the same journey as you, or somebody who's already accomplished what it is that you want to achieve. And people who will keep you accountable and push you a little bit and tell you when you're kind of slipping back into old habits. And this is where a group like Over 40 Females can be part of your team, or you may want to reach out to a professional like a coach or a therapist to be part of your team if your immediate circle doesn't have the right people for you. The next is to identify in advance your potential barriers to change, and so that you can overcome some of them in advance, but also that when they happen, you're kind of aware that they were going to happen, and you just kind of say, here's one of those barriers coming up, but you have a plan to overcome it. And the last piece, which is kind of a neuroscience-y bit, is that Our brains love to be rewarded. And, you know, we're still kind of wired the same as we were when we were kids, when we loved getting a sticker. So if you break your goals down to small, manageable steps, but build in rewards, it makes change much less painful. So that's the kind of planning step. And the next couple of slides are about common success saboteurs, things that might stop you achieving your goals. So lack of desire and drive, vagueness about your goals, not taking personal responsibility, having a negative mindset, you know, having a lot of things on your mind that kind of say, oh, I can't do this, or I'm too old, bad habits that might get in your way, like going on Facebook first thing in the morning before you've done anything else. Also ignorance. Sometimes when we want to change something in our life, we may need to get some more education about the thing that we want to change. Low self-confidence leads to a lack of courage. So if you have low self-confidence, do something about it. Going solo, not building a team of people around you. Poor willpower, a lack of a coherent plan, lack of creativity or flexible thinking. You know, sometimes things don't work the way that you thought they were going to, so you need to be flexible and you need to kind of think of a new plan. And the last one, and most importantly, inaction is one of the biggest success saboteurs. And so once you've got this plan, the next step, and this is the kind of bad news in a way, is that you must take persistent positive action. And without taking action, your vision is just a dream. And ladies, we all want to turn our dreams into a reality, so you have to take action. And there's a lovely quote from Napoleon Hill, who wrote a book in 1937 on success. Patience, persistence, and perspiration make an unbeatable combination for success. And I love that quote. And then once your plan is in action, you need to constantly review it and redo it if you need to. So then the last piece that I wanted to tell you about was peak performance. And peak performance is really the whole kind of neuroscience bit, and it's really, really fascinating. I've taught athletes, teenagers, opera singers to be peak performers, and I really think it's something that everybody should learn to do because it makes you more efficient and effective, and it makes you reach your goals much quicker, which I think is pretty cool. So peak performance is about getting your body and your mind as healthy as possible, and then learning to focus on the thing that you want to change. And focus is a really big problem today. You know, we're all so busy and distracted, and, you know, with social media especially, and our phones constantly buzzing, it's very, very distracting. But if there's something that you really, really want to achieve and it's very important to you, you need to focus on it. And the problem with us today is we think we can multitask, and multitasking is very difficult to do unless the second thing that you're doing is a habit, and that's pretty much the only time you can do two things at once. So how are we doing for time, Judy?
How much time? About 10 more minutes.
Okay, cool. As you all know, my background is as a physician, so I'm kind of obsessed about the healthy body and the healthy mind. But the problem is that people are often overwhelmed because health sounds really, really complicated. And, you know, I have big medical textbooks that, you know, are kind of several hundred pages thick, and it is complicated. But here's a simple way to think of physical health. We all have health assets, things that are good for our health, and health liabilities. So health assets are things like good diet, staying well hydrated, exercising, positive relationships are health assets, and new learning. And especially as we get older, new learning along with exercise are really, really important. And health liabilities are things like poor diet, dehydration, inactivity, bad habits, toxins and infections, and exposing ourselves to physical harm. For example, you know, if you like skiing, then it's really, really important that you wear a ski helmet when you ski, because as you get older, you know, if you have a head injury, it can really, really affect your physical and your mental health in a very dramatic way. So then healthy mind. So healthy mind, I am not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but I do have training in counseling and coaching. And so the four things that come up the most often with women are thought patterns. And often it's things like, you know, well, I haven't worked for many years, so how can I possibly go back to work? Or women saying, I'm just really not good at, you know, an area of business, I'm going to ignore it. So the thought patterns are really, really important. Next is stress. And stress is a huge saboteur of success. And stress is very complicated, and I have whole kind of courses and workshops that I run on stress. But just to touch on it, if you're experiencing stress right now, I really urge you to do something about it, because it has a really big impact on your physical and mental health and your ability to perform. Next in healthy mind is developing healthy habits. Now, the really cool thing about habits is they save you time and energy. Once something becomes a deeply ingrained habit, it uses a tiny fraction of your brain power and your physical energy. So things like, you know, getting up in the morning and making your bed are a good habit to get into. Getting into the habit of creating a schedule at the beginning of your work week and sticking to it. Those kind of things will save you a lot of time and energy. And it takes, it's said around about 26 times to repeat an action before it becomes a habit. But in the long run, it will save you a lot of time. And the last thing is confidence. And, you know, there's many women in our community who are feeling a lack of confidence. And that's something really, really important to address. So that's healthy mind. As I say, it's extremely complicated, so I'm really just kind of touching on it. And so I mentioned about focus, and I do believe that this is an area that it's really important, especially if you are a woman who's in business, to get really good at focusing. And focus is just a muscle. Well, it's not a muscle, but it's just a habit. And so the more you practice focusing, the better you will get at it. So if you're struggling with focus, what I would suggest is that you start with short periods of time. Say, for example, you say, today I'm going to focus on, you know, writing my blog, and I'm going to focus for 20 minutes, and I'm just going to focus on that alone. And you set yourself a timer, and during that time, no distractions. And then over time, you increase the amount of time that you're able to focus on that thing. And it's amazing how productive you can become. When I wrote my book, I really struggled with focus at the beginning because I wasn't very disciplined. And it took me 8 weeks to write my book. By the end, I could sit and write for about 3 hours without any distractions. And so if you have a problem with focus, and I meet, you know, a lot of people that I meet say, have I got ADHD? If you didn't have ADHD when you were a kid, you haven't got ADHD now. But you may be struggling with a problem with an inability to focus, and you can get that back if you persevere with it.
Leonora?
So, yeah.
Hi, interrupt you with another question.
Yeah, great.
Okay, we have a question from Chicago. What is this might be a little bit off topic, but I believe you were talking about it earlier. What is the best way you recommend to reduce stress? So I'm thinking maybe the best way, like maybe the first step, I don't know.
Okay. Well, there are 3 steps. I'll tell you the 3 steps really, really quickly. The first step is to identify your sources of stress and then do something about those sources that you can do something about. Some of your sources of stress you can't do anything about them, you can't get rid of them. But for example, if you're stressed because you know you need to go and see and go and have a mammogram done, but you've been putting it off for a long time, you can deal with that source of stress by taking action. So take action on anything that you can. The second step is to get your body and mind into really good shape, because your brain the health of your brain affects how you deal with stress and how easily you get stressed. And then the third step, and this is really the answer to the question, is to develop a stress management toolkit. A toolkit of things that work for you to reduce stress. So examples of things that you might have in your toolkit, it may be that meditation or some mindfulness practice or prayer, or it may be that it's walking in the woods. It may be that it's exercising or doing a yoga class. And I was talking to a man the other day, kind of slightly off topic, about his stress management. And his favorite stress management thing is riding his motorbike.
Wait a minute, Leonora.
Yeah.
What about taking? Don't you have a new 14-day meditation type of practice or something that you're doing there with I think that would be a great first step. Honestly, that my first step to doing meditation was taking something just like that. I followed, just the same sort of sequence in a 2-week type of meditation, and I never stopped, and it's been great. So can you tell them how to access that?
Yes, so my meditation program, and I designed it for beginners. It's called Meditation Number 4 Moms. So Meditation for Moms. And it's a 14-day meditation program. And I did research before I designed it. And it's basically every day you'll get sent a 5-minute meditation on a different topic. So the first one's on learning to breathe correctly. There's one on happiness. There's one on stress. There's one on gratitude, which is very timely at the moment with Thanksgiving coming up. And there's one on focus. The focus one's really cool. And so it's a really good way, if you've never tried meditation, to give it a go. And it's designed just for busy people like us. So, but the interesting thing, and the reason I call it a toolkit is it's different for everybody. I've had some people who have tried, a meditation course, and some people have tried my meditation, and they're just not, it just doesn't do it for them right now. And it may be that, it's a massage or something else. So I urge people to have a toolkit of several things. The problem, I meet a lot of women who over-rely on exercise as a stress management tool. And that's great when you can exercise. But the problem is sometimes, things happen in your life which mean you can't exercise for a while. And if that's all you've got in your toolkit, you're suddenly left with no way to manage your stress. So
that's great. So mix it up.
Yeah, mix it up, definitely.
And I hate to tell you this, but we're running out of time.
Sure, yes.
So if you could maybe just try to wrap it up as soon as you can. And it's my fault because I've been, asking questions and getting you a little. No, and I just love what you're saying, and I feel like, everybody should know more and more, but unfortunately we only have so much time, so.
Yes, absolutely. So I would love to tell you really, really quickly. I know that you're probably all on the call because you were kind of interested in how you could achieve some change in your life, and the strategies that I've been telling you about have created major shifts, not only in my life, and they really have created major shifts in my life, but also in the lives of my clients. And sometimes the shifts are really small, but sometimes they're really big, major, life-changing shifts. And so I really quickly wanted to tell you about my book, Beyond Soccer Mom. And the beginning of the book is what we've just been talking about today. It's this kind of roadmap for change, this master strategy. But then the second half of the book covers different areas of your life that you may be struggling with. So the idea of the book is that you read the beginning, so you get this kind of plan really clear, and then you decide which area of your life you want to focus on first, and then you kind of read that relevant chapter for that book. So that's the kind of second half of the book. And so if you have been listening to all of this and you're kind of at the stage where you're thinking, I'm not sure that I'm kind of like what she's talking about, or I don't know if I'm ready for this kind of change, then you can download a sneak peek of the book at BeyondSoccerMom.com. And at that website, you can also buy the book. If you're like what I've been saying today and you feel that you're at the stage where you're ready for some transformation in your life, then you can get the book at the website too. And it's $17.95 signed and shipped from me. And you also get a free Kindle version and a 93-page workbook that comes along with it so that you can kind of coach yourself as you go along. So just to finish up, I'd love you to have a think about what it is that you want to be creating in your life. And then get really focused on that. Take some personal responsibility. It's your life and you only get one. And, you know, our lives are very precious and we really deserve to be living a good life. Get clear about what you really, really want and then create a really good plan and then take action. And the last piece is to get some support, either from, you know, from my book or from the people around you, or join by, you know, becoming more involved in a group like Over 40 Females. There's really amazing support to be had there. And I just want to finish up by saying, you know, you all deserve to be living a happy, healthy, abundant, successful life. And I really hope that I've given you some ideas and strategies today to help you go out and start creating that. So this is my kind of my overall website. I have several websites, but this is the main one where you can find all of the stuff we've been talking about today, including a link to the meditation program. So it's drleonaurarhodes.com. So I think that's it for me, other than to say thank you so much for listening and thank you for the wonderful questions. And thanks to the team for having me on the show today.
Absolutely. You know, it's always a pleasure. You have some really, really good points in there to get support, get help, and, you know, get a few simple things that can alleviate your stress or at least bring down the stress. You know, a few simple things, getting a massage, meditating, that type of thing. It doesn't have to cost money. So, and absolutely, your book is fantastic. I love it. It's like a how-to, you know, on really just a step-by-step book. So it's very nice, simple, and fantastic. So thank you so much for coming on the teleseminar today. And we are going to now introduce we're going to highlight two of our selected members. Part of what Over 40 Females does is that we get our members noticed as much as we can, and we love to promote you and all your businesses all over the place, all over our expanding social media with tens of thousands of friends, followers, and all other types of social media. So friend us on Facebook and go find the fan page of, you know, the area you're in. And if you don't have a chapter in your area, find our online community. Our Twitter is at Over 40 Females. And up on the screen right now, we have Linda Ellers from Chicago. Her company is Velour Enterprises, and she is an independent real estate agent based in Palos Hills, Illinois. So if you're looking for a house in that area, please contact Linda Ellers from Velour Enterprises. We also have Patty Donahue from our online community chapter, and her company is Image Awards. She is an engraver specializing in corporate awards, youth sports, and personalized gifts. And she has been in business since 1994, she said, and she still loves it. That is awesome. Congratulations to you. So if anybody out there needs an engraver, you know where to go. Patty Donahue from our online community chapter. Okay, our next breakout session, we're going to start to have teleseminars in between our online monthly event teleseminars. They're going to be quick breakout sessions for things that we know that you want to learn about. The first one is on December 1 at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's presenting yourself on TV and in front of a live audience, hosted by me, Judy Goss. So please register now. It's under our community calendar. It's December 1st at 1 p.m., and it will be about 20 to 25 minutes. And our raffle prize winner is Mindy Siegel from Long Island. So, Mindy, congratulations. And please email us at info@over40females.com to get your prize sent to you. Unless your address is correct in your profile, then we'll just send it right to that address. And thank you, everyone, for joining us with Dr. Leonaura Rhodes. We are just so proud, again, to have her on this teleseminar. And next month, our guest speaker is Ivy Slater. She's a certified business coach and founder of Slater Success Coaching. Ivy works with women entrepreneurs on creating their businesses so they can have it all. And her clients include W Magazine, Harper's Bazaar, New York Magazine, Advertising Age, just to name a few. So we're excited to have her on board next month. December 10th, she is going to be doing our online monthly event, so go save your spot for that also. So we've got December 1st, the TV presentation in front of an audience, presenting yourself in front of a live audience and on TV, and December 10th, is our next monthly online event. So go save your spaces. Go register right now and on over40females.com. And again, thank you for being members, and thank you for joining us today. Bye-bye.